All right. It's 6 o'clock. The Administration and Finance Committee will come to order. And the gavel is was requested by the video folks so that they know exactly when the meetings begin rather than trying to figure out just from voices. And so I'm not drunk with power and having the gavel.
Well, you could be drunk.
I could. Yeah, I could be drunk with anything.
And he did request it's going to be for all committees.
Right, exactly.
So that, because I didn't know they can't hear.
Until,
Well,
They go by
They
seeing the
hear.
gavel
Oh, I see.
motion.
if they hear, everyone hears.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yep. So it gets broadcast if they
Yes.
hear it. Yeah. Okay, so our meeting has come to order. All 5 members are present. Can I have a motion for approval of the minutes?
So move.
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 2 is the 2022 City of West Dallas Mayor's recommended budget. Who wants to go?
I don't have anything new on items 2 or 3 unless there's questions.
Okay, I do have a question then, Ms.
Yes.
Grill. We had talked about garbage carts and folks that don't use garbage carts at one of the prior Public Works meetings. What, if anything, in the budget is being done about bringing everyone into conformity with city garbage carts?
Okay, I believe one of the recommendations that the mayor has is to, see, thank you.
See, look how Dana's on top of it.
Garbage, for enforcement and nuisance control activities, under that, there's garbage cart standardization. So there's 900 residential properties that currently don't use the city-approved cart. So he's recommending an ordinance change to require those properties to purchase a cart at a reduced rate, 50% of the current rate, through April of 2022. If they don't purchase it by then they would be assessed the complete amount on their property taxes. So we would have to work with Public Works and Communications to make sure everyone knows. And I would think we would direct mail, since we can identify how many people, we would direct mail those locations.
Okay. And so, just to clarify from the verbiage, you said he's recommending, this is part of the budget, that what you
Correct.
just said is part of the budget. We passed the budget, we're passing that as well. That's,
We would need a specific ordinance to do that. So
Okay.
we usually, when we go through the process, there's ordinances to implement the different parts of that. So we would need an ordinance because, the mayor can't necessarily, pass an ordinance. He's requesting that you do. So if you're looking for us to do that right away with the budget, we certainly can have that ready.
I think the answer is yes, yeah.
Okay.
My thought as I look around the room, so I see head nods. Yeah, Marty?
I guess my concern is we charge everybody else who bought one sooner what they cost us, correct?
Correct.
And now we're saying, well, if you didn't buy one when we asked you to before, we're gonna,
Like, we're trying to create an incentive.
no.
If you hold off on getting a COVID vaccine, you might get $100.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't get $100.
Somebody owes me
I
$100.
didn't either.
Yeah, I think that's part of it.
How many are we still, I'm sure the numbers are there.
900?
Okay, and we're talking about half price on garbage and recycling?
Everyone should have a recycling
okay,
cart.
yeah.
So this is just for garbage. So certainly that's up to the council, what you want to charge them. So
Yeah.
we can put together the ordinance and you can decide what fee you want.
Yeah,
Mr. Chair.
and I'll just make my point real quick, and then Alderperson Reinke.
That's okay.
Yeah, I think that the proposal as written is good. I would be more concerned, Marty, if we were giving out the carts for free
Yeah.
to folks that didn't have them all of a sudden. I think that's more with what your concern is.
That would definitely be too far for me.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Rosie?
Okay, at the last meeting, we had a consensus that we would move forward on that, and Kale should be working on that ordinance as we speak. As far as I understand, the carts now are $58, he said, the last shipment that they got was $58, so that means it would be $29 if it was 50% off. Basically, remember when we had that deal, you might say, for the people a couple years ago when we were given a very lucrative price at that time? But I thought it was more than $29
Yeah, even then, right?
at that time that I paid for mine.
There was a fee ordinance that was already passed with that information regarding whatever the current cost is, that would be.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's already been passed.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, that was my one concern. Does anybody else have anything under items 2 or 3?
Mr. Chair, I had a question because
Yes,
I
please.
spent a lot of time looking at this book.
Well, I'm glad
Did
you
a
spent a
nice-
lot of time putting it together.
I'm sure you did. It's very well presented, and I found out a lot more than what I knew before, and it was very well done. I have a question regarding the training and travel accounts. There's been a considerable increase in some departments, and I'm questioning why there is such a, in some departments, it's as much as, I'll use HR for an example. In 2021, it was 5,600, and in 2022, it's 9,750. That's quite a jump. And I'm wondering what the reason is for the huge increase, as far as I know, in that particular budget. And others, it's also a big step from 2020 to 2022. I realize in 2020 it was the start of COVID, but some of them are huge increases. This one was 525 to 2605. I mean, there's one was 3,000, went up to 15,000. That's a lot. That's a big increase, and so.
I wouldn't have to look at that because there's, something might be going to
Skewed,
those
maybe
accounts.
I didn't understand it,
Yeah.
but I took down the
There shouldn't
stats.
be that great of an increase for those. I mean, certainly.
Chief Mitchell has something to contribute. I didn't mean to cut you off, though, Rebecca.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
So one possible reason, I know there was a financial accounting change where a department may have funded things to training, but the travel portion, which has historically gone to training, really should always have gone to travel. So the expense to get there, the flying in an airplane, driving in a car. So that might be, I cannot confirm exactly, but that might be why some of those travel accounts are up, because they billed to what finance a couple of years ago said is the correct account, instead of lopping everything into training. That makes sense.
That could be a reason, but I would like to know the reason why there's such a big
Sure.
increase.
I would have to look at that. I know some of the things, like with our HR department, there's different, I guess, training certificates that the people in the department are working towards, but I don't know if that's specific to these increases. So I can go through and let you know for each department what the increases are related to.
Okay, maybe.
I can't answer
okay.
your question right now, though.
Maybe you could answer for the administrative office. The estimated was 8,850, and now it's requested 15,000. That's a lot of money. So,
I don't know if our registration fees are in there too. It's possible, but for myself, I
this is
didn't
under
think
training and travel.
but I understand that, but sometimes there's not a separate registration fee. So if we're part of memberships, we're part of memberships, that might include something. I'm not familiar with myself requesting $15,000. So I would really have to look at what those are and give you that information later.
Jason Kazmarek has something he wanted to say.
Sure. I can speak to that for my department. I know finance is higher, but overall, the budget is lower in finance. I looked at priorities, and I saw education and training as a priority item for finance. So as I was putting that together, I just made that a priority item. I know some of my staff wanted some additional training, and I'm supposed to be hiring. I'm in the process of hiring right now. And I allotted training expenses for that new hire as well.
Thank you, but I still don't understand. It's just a question.
And
Yeah.
I can get you the answer. I just can't get it to you right now.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, please.
I have two questions. For the planning and zoning, the new positions, the CD senior planner, page 117 if anyone needs it, a neighborhood specialist and lead planner. Was the neighborhood specialist the one that we created that position last year? Is
Right.
that same one? Okay, it just hasn't been filled.
Correct.
And then this might be something more for Bob, which I could reach out to him if needed for the health department with the senior center. They had the total as a 2022 planned, the total number of programs and classes offered through the senior center is 5,000. Is that an attainable goal? How do they get the 5,000? Is it per, like if it's one yoga class, but it's,
I think they're counting each
Yeah,
Okay.
each visit,
Okay.
yeah.
person.
I didn't know if it was a typo or
Yeah.
what, but I thought, attainable goals.
Right, that was
Man
one
hours, person hours.
of the things I had talked to him about. Because
So it's like per
It's not-
classes, so if yoga's
yeah.
200 times for the year, then
Yeah,
they're
it's 200,
taking that.
right.
Okay. That's all I have.
Yeah, thank you. Anything else on items 2 or 3? All right, thank you. Yeah, then we'll move on to item 4, 2021 CIP notes issuance, bonds issuance, and debt refundings. And Dave Ferris from Ellers is here, and yeah, Jason's going to introduce. Please, Jason.
For the committee here and for the public, this is Dave Ferris from Ellers. You guys would probably remember Dawn Gunderson. She recently retired, and Dave has stepped in her shoes. I can say that I have worked with Dave in the past, and he's been excellent to work with. He's a good professional, and he's going to walk us through our debt issuance. We're issuing debt for our normal CIP borrowing, so capital projects, and that includes that street lighting. And then we're also doing a debt issuance for TID 14. And then because low interest rates, we're refunding all of the issuances that Dave found savings for us. So Dave, I'll let you just kind of give him a summary, let him know kind of what our interest rates are at and maybe what we're going to be saving with these issuances.
Yeah, and Dave, why don't you come on forward and have a seat right there, please? And then you're by the microphone also. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to come and meet you guys, because you've never seen me before, and Dawn's been around for quite a while, but Dawn and I have a very similar background. I've been in local government either in the audit function or as a finance director for, wow, let's go with almost 32 years or so. So I was an auditor just like Jason, but I was at Virtual Kraus, and then I did 16 years with the Village of Wanakee in the Madison area, and then I've kind of been in the consulting role 3.5 years with Ellers since, and I was one of their clients as well. So I know them pretty well, and it's been a really good move for me. As far as the financings, I'll just do really a high level here, and then if you have questions, I'll go into more details. But as Jason said, we're doing 2 issues. The first one is really your tax exempt financing, which finances your street improvements and your street lighting. And then as well, we're refinancing some tax exempt general obligation bonds that you have that were related to streets and the police in the past and the water and such. So basically the big issue, the first issue is the one that does that. The second issue is one that takes out a bunch of old debt issues. I don't think they're bonds or some state trust fund loans, but there's a significant savings on the TID side. And as Jason said, there's also some new money that we're taking out for TID 14. So as far as interest rates on the first issue, which is the B issue, because we did the A maybe July-ish that you may recall. The first issue is a tax exempt, and right now we're planning on about a 1.34% interest over the life of the bonds, or actually notes. We're going to do 10-year notes on this. So the interest rate, over that entire period is about 1.34%. We have a little bit of interest risk built into this, and actually rates have been creeping. So hopefully when I come back, or when we sell these, that we aren't right on it. Hopefully there's a little bit there, but there has been a little bit of creep lately. So hopefully we're conservative enough that that's the rate, but you're still going to be right in that ballpark. The second issue is the taxable issue, which does the takeout of the TID revenue, or the TID bonds, TID-related debts, and then the new money on TID 14. And that one is actually a 20-year issue, 17-year issue, and that's coming in at an interest rate of about $2 or 2.16%. So that's still a pretty good rate. The reason it's higher, it's taxable, and we're also going out longer, so that rate will be higher just because, this one was 10 years, this one was 17, so there's going to be a higher overall interest rate on that. As far as savings on these two issues, on the refundings, I have a page built in for you guys to take a look at, but just to go over it real quick. On the tax exempt portion, the savings overall, if just looking at cash year over year, is about $324,000. Most of that savings comes in the water and sewer utility. If you backdate, if you take all those future cash flows back to now, it's right in that ballpark as well. We have a pretty short issue here. So pretty nice savings for the utilities. Not really a whole lot for the levy, but it's worth it for the utilities, and there's not a loss. It's actually a gain. It's very small, but for a gain for the levy. As far as the taxable portion, it's a little bit better. We already did a really nice savings for you on the TID 16 issue earlier, but we have another $954,000 of cash savings over the life of these issues as well. So we're taking out the 12A community development bonds and a couple of state trust fund loans, and in the process, TID 7 and TID 9 will be completely paid off on debt, and we'll be refunding a little bit into a new issue, the 10, 11, and 14 purposes. So real nice savings. Hopefully we will stay right in those interest rates we talked about, and that'll be what we come in with on a sale day. I'm happy to go deeper if you want. I don't want to.
I think we're good. He told us about the savings. That's what we want to hear.
So, appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, please, Jason.
And then procedurally, then what we're going to do is when Quarles and Brady gives us the final resolution wording, we'll bring that to A&F committee on November 2nd for approval on the 2nd.
The one thing that I didn't mention is that we're doing the sale the same way we did the issue for the TID 16 bonds, where because of the way the meetings are falling, we want to get the sales done on a day that we can do it when the city council isn't meeting that day. Otherwise, we have to put it off for a while. So the parameters information that's in the packets is the same way that we sold the 2021A. All it does with the resolution that Jason was talking about is when you go to council, the council will actually authorize the administrator or the finance director to sign off on the award sales like we did on the 21A. And really everything else is the same, other than the fact that the council is delegating that sale day authorization where we're recommending the lowest true interest cost.
Very good. Thank you. All right. Is there anything else to properly come before the committee then?
We adjourn.
I can't.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we're adjourned.